Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we're going to be joined by Travis Breton, who is our corporate broker. He's our real estate guru in-house. Also, Bill Seitz with Clearview Mortgage. And let me bring the guys on the line. Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Yep. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Travis. Good morning, Bill. All right, good. So today, this webinar is going to be about marketing to your sphere of influence, which is super important, something that I think that most agents don't do quite effectively enough. NAR data shows us that about 42% of real estate deals come from sphere of influence, so it's very, very important. It's definitely the biggest spot where you're going to get your deals. So Bill, I think you were going to tell us what exactly is the sphere of influence. How is it defined?
Well, yep. Thank you, Kevin. I thought it would be a good idea just to read the definition of it, just so we have a clear understanding before we jump into the different components of it that Kevin's going to outline, and I'm sure Travis and I will have some good input into it and good insight. But the sphere of influence is defined. It's a group of people upon which you have some influence just because they know you. So this includes your family, your friends, those of whom you do business, fellow organization or club members, etc. So people that you have influence over, could be a little bit, could be a lot, but generally that is what's defined as your sphere of influence.
Yeah, and so and a lot of times when we talk about sphere of influence, a lot of agents kind of just think, oh, family and friends, right? And it's much, much larger than that. So, it also consists of, people that you worked for in other industries. Sometimes real estate professionals are coming from other industries. So you think of all those people that you dealt with, vendors and clients and things that those people that know you from maybe that other industry. Think of, clubs that you're part of, whatever, golf clubs and tennis clubs and yacht clubs and whatever that you do. Those are all people that are part of your sphere of influence. So it's really important to make sure that, and it's your job as a realtor, and as a professional, to make sure that those people in your sphere of influence know what you do. So you never want to be in a position where, like somebody that you know pretty well comes up to you and you're having a conversation and they're like, I didn't realize you did real estate. That should never happen, because you should be on the offensive all the time, and you should make sure that all the people within your sphere of influence do know what you do, and not just what you do, how you separate yourself from your competitors. So Travis, Bill, you want to comment on that?
I think you touched on it a second ago, Kevin, is that whether you're in the business and you're a new agent or you're a seasoned agent, we do find that there's a small percentage of people that really have this segment of their business completely dialed in. And as you and I were talking last week, and we were coming up, with, hey, what's going to be some good content? What can we share with our agents? What's going to be of value to them? And we talked about really getting deeper into this realm, because the way I look at it, it's like building a house, and your sphere of influence, all these people that you connect with and associate with, whether it's through your kids or your organizations or the clubs that you mentioned, these are all the people that should be your foundational piece to your business. This is the slab that you pour as you build around that. And if this is done effectively, you'll be not only working with better people that you like, but it's proven that the price points are actually higher than if you're doing lead generation online or trying to get leads elsewhere. So it's not the end all be all to your business, but it certainly has to be. Any agent that's serious about selling real estate really needs to look at themselves and say, do I have my sphere of influence in place? Do I have it operating? Am I communicating to them effectively? And can I do a better job? Or what does it look like? So I think getting into this today is a really good measure for everybody to say, can I be doing a better job? Am I doing it at all? and how do I do it?
Yeah, that's that's a really good point. Am I doing it at all? That's a very, very important thing for us to go over. So if you're not doing, any kind of marketing to your sphere of influence, let's start there. That's the beginning point. So Travis, do you have anything to comment on that?
There's a lot of different ways you say marketing to your sphere of influence. Sometimes it's just, you touched on letting them know that you're in the real estate business. And I think that is obviously the most important thing. I used to work with pretty closely with this social media guy, and he had this, prior to me meeting him, he wanted to sell his home. And this guy, he did trainings all over the U.S. really with real estate agents on, how to better their social media. And he had been working, prior to really getting in that direction, he'd been working with this real estate agent. She had sold him the home he was living in, and he wanted to sell that home. And so, he obviously knows tons of real estate agents in the area, but she is a go-getter on Facebook. She posts every day, and it's not, it was just letting it be known that she's out there and she's busy, like proposing or, hey, out showing homes and picture this. And that's who he went back to again to sell his home. And he had a lot of agents that were upset with him. And he said, guys, not only have I worked with her in the past, she's constantly in my feed showing me that she's out there doing business and being productive. So naturally, that's who I work with again, So it was kind of a good lesson for a lot of people that, you may have gotten that sale, but you're just not active enough. And he didn't think of you when he went to go and list his home.
And that's such a huge thing, Travis, is, everybody knows real estate agents. We all have friends that are real estate agents. And so which one do you go with? You go with the one, exactly like you said, that it's top of mind, that is reminding you that they're doing business, because those are the one, oh my gosh, that person is out there really working the market. They're probably going to do a good job selling my home, right?
Exactly. And myself, I follow, probably the majority of my friends on my Facebook account are actually real estate agents just throughout Southern California. And whenever I have a referral, I usually know who to send it to because they're always posting stuff online. So I have certain people that would be my go-to person in certain areas.
And really just because you're being reminded. That's right.
I'm being reminded constantly, and I know they're out there working it and doing good business, and I can tell by the stuff they're posting that they care, they take care of their clients, so I know who I'm comfortable with in referring business. So technically, they're in my sphere of influence and I'm in theirs.
Right. So there's a lot of step ones, with marketing and making sure that you're engaging your sphere of influence. One of the big step ones is to invite, first of all, create a Facebook fan page if you haven't done that already, but then inviting those people to like the Facebook fan page is like the biggest step. It's the biggest key to making sure that, and we know that not all of your friends are going to like the page, but a percentage of them are, especially ones that are engaged in social media, and that's the way that they kind of get their news feeds and whatever else. But so you're gonna at least connect with them, and so when they like your page, your information, anything you post is going to come up in their news feed. So really important step one. And then Bill, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I also would take the time to, and this is an ongoing thing, and it'll be evolving and you should constantly be trying to expand and grow your sphere of influence over time. But I would have a database, and I would have a hard database, Excel spreadsheet or something that you're constantly updating, adding people to that list so you can market to them in a variety of different ways. You should have phone number, email, address, and you should be continually adding to that as whether if you're the, maybe you're the the team mom for your kids baseball league, and you get, you meet 10 families over the course of the 2-month season, and you get to know all these families. All those people should be getting added into your sphere of influence. And that database is key.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the crux of this whole thing. I mean, the digital component has changed and evolved and added so many different ways to touch people instantly through the digital side. But we also need to have this. This is not just a one-pronged thing. This is got to be layered in with phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a direct mail piece, and also the digital media side to have an effective, broad, plan in place.
Exactly. So you hit the nail on the head, Bill. That's exactly where we're going next, is making sure that your list is updated. So all of our agents have access to the agent marketing websites. And so in there, you're able to keep track of all of your clients. And so you need to definitely, a lot of people, agents have, these clients on an Excel spreadsheet. And so you can just literally import that Excel spreadsheet right into your agent marketing system and have everybody into the system. And that's just a very, very important step. I know most of you guys have done that, and I've helped a lot of you guys one-on-one to just make sure that gets done. So once we have all of our, and then once they're in, like Bill said, you meet somebody at the soccer game, you meet somebody in a social situation, you want to make sure that you're getting their information, you're taking their business card, you're putting them into, and then from there you're just adding them. You meet somebody individually, you're just adding them like this. You click on add new, easy, and then you're able to put all of their information in here. And then, of course, what we want to do, this is the first in a lot of the different steps, but we want to make sure that we're sending those people a monthly newsletter. Can't tell you how much that we need to stress the importance of the monthly newsletter. It's really, really a key communication piece to your sphere of influence. You want to train your sphere of influence to knowing that they're going to be receiving that every month, and to engage with it. So we want to turn our monthly newsletters on, and so we just do that. And then in our system, where we create those is in our email drip area. So we just click on that, and we click on the monthly newsletters, and we can add a monthly newsletter here. And so it's not a huge deal to load up 6 months worth of newsletters in one day. You could do all 12 months in one day, just get them done. And then that you're communicating with your sphere of influence effectively on a monthly basis. You're not bugging the crap out of them, but you're making sure that they know that you're there. And so Bill and I, we ran a real estate company in Southern Baja in the early 2000s called Baja Surf Properties. And that newsletter, we did a lot of online marketing, to get people into our database. We, would market to our sphere of influence, of course. And all of those people got that monthly newsletter. And it was the way that we stayed in touch, because we all know how marketing works. We get somebody from online marketing, they click on our website, they fill out the form, we get them the information. Great, they don't do anything. 4, 5, 6 months down the line, we know that sometimes they surface. Now they're ready to buy. They're further down the buying pipeline. So that for us was the number one way that we got business. And especially our sphere of influence people really enjoyed the little stories and the stuff that we put out in our newsletter. It was fun. They expected it. They knew that they were going to get it every month. We never faltered. We always got that thing out every month. And Bill, what's your reflection on how that worked for us?
It just makes me kind of giggle, Kevin, because those were just pre-digital. I mean, we were kind of like, we did a really good job in a time when, this wasn't, the backbone of what people tell you to do. And we were kind of, doing on the fly, but it was fun, and it was really neat to research a couple different things about what was going on in Mexico. May have been a new restaurant, may have been a infrastructure change that was allowing people to get from point A to point B quicker, faster, more efficient. There was a lot of things that we touched on, and people did really. I mean, we had people just say, "Hey, we love your newsletters," and it was like, oh, really? You guys like our writing, and it was really neat just to see that it works. And I think Kevin has an example of a friend of mine. I don't know if you have that available, Kevin, to pull up.
Yeah, I do. What's funny is it disappeared. So continue to talk and I'll find it.
Okay. So a friend of mine, David Solomon, he is about 4 or 5 years younger than I am. I'm currently 43, so definitely entering the middle-age department. And I met David at San Diego State when I was going down there for college. He was on the surf team with me. We ended up being great friends. He was in my wedding, and he's from Santa Monica, and he works for a brokerage up there in West LA. And I remember, getting out of college, getting my real estate license, starting to work at Prudential and starting to do some deals and learning from a gentleman that we knew in the neighborhood that was doing really well. And David, was 5 years my younger, and he had started getting into the business, and I was like, oh, he doesn't know anything. He just, he's telling me about all this stuff that he's doing. I'm like, yeah, right. You have no idea what you're doing. And David this guy has turned into turned his real estate business into a mini empire. He currently sells, he's on a team with his mom. He currently sells over $100 million worth of real estate every year. He produces a newsletter. He's very seldom does he take a listing that's under $1 million. Most are, in the 3 to 7 range. He's constantly, I follow him obviously on Instagram, and I follow him on his newsletters just because I like to see what kind of product and what kind of things that he's putting out. But he does an exceptional job of putting a newsletter out to his sphere of influence, to people that he has in his database. And what I like about his newsletter is it doesn't mention real estate in the first portion of it at all. It talks about an event that's going on in LA, maybe a new restaurant, maybe something up in Malibu. And then after that, it goes into some real estate stuff or some of the featured homes or listings, all done first rate, top level quality photography. I mean, this is a masterpiece of newsletters. And if you guys ever want to see that, I don't know if Kevin was able to find it, maybe not.
Yeah, I think I did find it. Sorry.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Okay, so maybe you pull that up. Let's see if it looks like you're getting it here, huh?
Yeah.
But it really is truly a top quality product that he's effectively using to push out to his clientele and his database. And so there it is.
Yeah, so you're right. And that, the first thing is just Labor Day in LA. He's got all kinds of stuff. And of course, he links it to his website. So he links it, everything is linked back to the website where, okay, now I'm on your website and I can search properties and so forth, right?
Yeah, scroll up to the top, Kevin, just to so it's the David and Anna Solomon monthly update. And you can see that they work for the agency up there in LA, but the agency is kind of a smaller, it's not, David and Anna Solomon are really the featured, font there, promoting them over the brokerage. But as you can see, as you scroll down, once again, it's not, the first thing is more of something that's fun about LA, Labor Day,
Yep.
And it's a little feature about what's going on during the holiday weekend. And then he's got some of his listings here. What is it? A link to a video on Bundy Drive and Brentwood.
So this is brilliant. He's got a link to one of his beautiful videos that he's done for one of his multi-million-dollar Brentwood homes. Shows people, hey, this is what I'm up to. This is a new video that I've done recently. Unbelievable. Really, really good.
And Kevin, go down, scroll down real quick. Mm-hmm. So then he's got some of his listings here. Keep going. So, 8 million, 5 million, obviously this is a guy who's taken his business seriously, and he's doing it the right way. He's truly running his real estate business effectively, professionally, in the right way. He has his in escrows. But if you scroll down to the bottom, Kevin,
okay.
and here's the thing. This is not expensive to produce. If you think you know a little further, I think
Sure.
it's through Constant Contact.
Yeah, so he's doing this through Constant Contact.
And Kevin, I know you're very familiar with Constant Contact.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And really, they all work. Our system has a monthly newsletter that's free. You guys can use. I'll say it definitely has. You can't create these beautiful, high quality, emails quite like this with the free system. But Constant Contact, Mailchimp, they're all very, very inexpensive. Mailchimp's $10. You can create very, very beautiful, high resolution images, great templates, all that kind of stuff, $10 a month. So, there's no excuse for it. Everybody needs to be able to create, and they've got good templates. I mean, it's not like you have to spend all this time, creating these templates. You just drop in the content that you create. So really, really cool. So one of the most important things to be doing as a realtor to connect with your sphere of influence is definitely be doing these newsletters. The next thing that everybody should be doing is client appreciation parties. Twice a year, once a year minimum, twice a year would be better. And you can do anything. You can say, hey, we're having a party down at the bowling alley. We got the pizza parlor, the sky's the limit, whatever you want to do at your house. Travis, you mentioned that great anecdote about the realtor that you were working with, that right when she got her license, she just had a coming out party like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Invited the neighbors over, invited her friends over, and she springboarded her business off of that one meeting. So why the heck wouldn't you do that 2 times a year, or at a minimum once a year?
Yeah, and that's someone that's done very well off, marketing to sphere of influence. I mean, that's how she got into the business. She didn't have a lot of money or anything to start up, but she could throw, a party. That's what she chose to spend her initial startup funds on is a party.
Yeah,
So,
200 bucks, $250. You can throw a massive party, a great party.
Yeah, she lived in some condos. She just used the common area, and the rest is history. So, piggybacking on a couple things that you had talked about with the database, just one thing with that. When we're talking database, we're not talking about got the first name of someone and their email address that may or may not be correct. Take some extra time, really cultivate your database and make sure it's very detailed. When you're putting in your sphere of influence contacts and stuff, put in, their birthday, find out their birthday is, find out when they bought their home anniversary date is, obviously their address, phone numbers, email, cell phones is best, so you can send text messages, but it'll all lead into ways that you can, spark up a conversation or reach out to them, on their home anniversary date or on their birthday. It gives you a reason to give them a call and let them know that you're around, and you're not calling to talk real estate. You're just calling to wish them a happy birthday, and so
Absolutely.
just make sure it's very detailed. Spend an extra few minutes always when you're inputting your contacts to really make them detailed, because everybody talks about a book of business in some of these other industries. Well, your contacts are your book of business. So you're really kind of only as good as what that is. So be very detailed with that.
Yeah, well said. And so in our agent marketing system, we've got an area for notes, so you can take as many notes as you want. You can, set tasks, you can set reminders, and, each of these people in your sphere of influence, they don't need a call every day. They don't need a call every month. But you may want to schedule a call once a quarter, or maybe you do want to send them, a text message once a month. And it doesn't have to be real estate. Literally, it's just, hey, how you doing? Making sure everything's good. Literally, just staying in contact. And I have a really good friend who's a realtor, and he is such a people person. But what I notice that he does, just genuinely, is he spends so much time and he gives so much energy to his friendships. And, just because of that, he gets real estate deals. So just, making sure that you are, reaching out to that person you haven't talked to in a long time, and spending your time doing that. That's an effective way to utilize your time, and to have it scheduled. Hey, once a month, once a quarter, I sit all day and I dial. I just dial and I send text messages and I contact my sphere of influence. And maybe you're sending, occasionally you're going to send a real estate piece, but just keeping in contact is the key.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Chad. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, just in preparing for this webinar today, I did some research and was just kind of going, through some stuff, and it was kind of looking for some statistics, and I found a really good little video. It's maybe a click on, it might be a little bit cheesy, but I think it was really effective in breaking down what this looks like. So the number they came up with is that you should be touching your sphere of influence, each person in your sphere, 40 times a year. Okay, you might think to yourself, oh, what, 40 times? That's outrageous. How the heck am I going to touch them 40 times? Well, that is consisting of phone calls, which should be 3 to 4 times a year. So that's either once a quarter or break the year up into thirds. Let's just say it's a quarter, so that's 4 times. Monthly newsletter, that's adding 12, right? Now you're at 16 touches. And then obviously your email campaign with current market data, listings, all that good stuff should be adding into there, maybe a birthday wish, a couple of things. And a lot of that is obviously through email connections, but you have to touch these people. 40 was the number that I came across, and they said, what does that produce? So if you're kind of an analogy is this, you're working this field, right? And you're tilling this cultivating this field of sphere of influence. They said if you do it, correctly, you're on it, you do it, 1 out of every 7 people in your sphere should refer you a deal. So it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that's pretty powerful. That if this is done in the appropriate manner, that you should be pulling 1 deal. Let's go conservative, 1 out of every 10. If you had 100 people in your sphere of influence and you got 10 deals every year just from your sphere, not including any extra marketing efforts, open house, various methods of getting other deals, that would increase, I think, everyone's bottom line drastically.
For sure. I mean, 100%, Bill. So, and Travis, I know you were going to make a comment as well.
I just had another quick anecdote, I guess.
Sure.
So there's an agent, kind of piggybacking on the newsletters. There are some alternatives if that's not quite what you're into, or maybe adding this to it, something that's kind of fun, that's not a grind to do. Not that the newsletter is, but some people just don't want to sit and write blog posts all day and different things like that. Is we have an agent. Our kids went to school together. She got her license a year and a half ago, and she's a real people person as well. But what she does is she almost takes the news report approach, and when we have things going on in the community, she actually does a kind of a video thing on it. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 minutes, but she'll actually kind of dig into it and find out what's actually going on. Like we had a whole big proposition going on with this piece of land, and there was people protesting this mall coming in and all this other stuff. And, there's always signs up on the freeway, and people are wondering, I don't know exactly what's going on. I know something's going on. So she actually did this piece and kind of, threw it on Facebook, and her sphere of influence, the people that follow her on Facebook shared this thing like crazy. It pretty much went viral. And so she started doing that with kind of every new building or development or anything that's kind of coming in that, has a little bit of an impact on the immediate community. And her sphere of influence, they thirst for it almost, they want to see what's going on and what her perspective is on it.
Right.
So it's really launched her career. I mean, the girl's selling, 1 to 2 homes a month, a year and a half in, and we're in kind of a competitive area. So
what is she doing, again, Travis? What she's doing is she is becoming and proving herself as the expert, as the real estate expert in that area.
Yep, and they're fun pieces. They're not 100% real estate related, but they are pieces that the community is definitely interested in.
I mean, that's gold.
So it's a very subtle marketing too. I mean,
Sure.
she lets it be known that she's a real estate agent in the video, but she doesn't say, contact me for, if you want to buy and sell. Like, that does not come out of her mouth,
Right. No, and that goes back to, we follow a guy named Gary Vanderchuck, who's I would say one of the best social media experts in the country right now. And he kind of has this philosophy that he says, it's for every one salesy post, you got to post, 7 to 10 just giveaway information kind of posts. So he really stresses that, you're giving away, you're just doing stuff that's, good information. And then you pepper in 1 or 2 salesy things, but most of the information that you're giving out on your social media and your blogs and in your newsletters is good, valuable information. And you want to give that for free. Right. And so that's what she's
definitely
doing. That's definitely,
or at least enough to use their information for free.
Absolutely. And so I know what we want to do with this is such a massive topic. We do want to have a part 2 of this topic next week. So I know we've run out of time today, but we also have a pretty amazing announcement from Bill and from Clearview Mortgage on a really, really cool program that we're going to be launching immediately. So Bill, take it away.
Yeah. So we've spent some time thinking about how to kind of, as everyone knows, Clearview Mortgage is a part of Alta Realty Group. We're not a separate company. We're not a separate, mortgage company that's trying to market into Alta Realty Group. We are Alta Realty Group. We all are on the same team. And we, as you know, I'm one of the founders of the company. And what we've really tried to do is come up, how do we all work together? How do we get the most from this business that we work together? And so what we've come up with is what we're calling the loyalty program. And we would like to basically, if you are using Clearview Mortgage, we are going to waive the buyer side transaction fee. So what does that mean for you as the agent? Well, it means you will get 100% of the commission, minus we have a little tiny E&O fee, but basically the 100% of the gross commission is going to go back to you, the agent. And we really feel that this is a true win-win for the agent and for the company. One, it gives you guys, incredible opportunity to capture the 99.99% or whatever it ends up being of the commission that you've earned on the real estate transaction, but also allows the company to keep growing and produce revenue on the finance side. And what we're really trying to do is build this synergy within our organization that is giving back to our agents, and our agents are also giving back to the company. Because if we continually do this together, we're going to be able to give Kevin the tools to go out and get the top marketing, the stuff that's going on in the marketing world, and bring those to you guys. And so we can stay cutting edge. We can keep doing these mastermind videos with training and keep pushing the envelope on giving back to you guys as the company can still grow and thrive. So we're really excited about that, guys. We encourage you to do your cross quals, your pre-approvals with us. Let's really drive this home, and we can all benefit from it. You can certainly contact me if you have any questions about it. We will also, on the listing side, if you actually have the listing and you bring the buyer and the buyer cross calls with Clearview, and we end up getting the loan, we'll also give you credit for that and waive the listing side, even if you're not the buyer's agent. So we really feel this is an incredible opportunity for everybody in the organization. So let's see how we go, and certainly reach out to me for any questions.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill. That's a really exciting program. I know that, a lot of our agents will be taking advantage of that, and it's just a really, really good way to help us grow the business, as you said. So Travis, thanks so much for your insight on today's webinar. Bill, thank you so much for your time. Next week, we'll be going into kind of part 2 of working your sphere of influence properly. And so, guys, thanks again for being on the webinar. We always appreciate everybody's involvement, and look forward to seeing you all in the next webinar.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Trav.
See you guys.